The Barbarian's Beard. Near Gresham's Rise, a tavern lies within a murky wood. The clientele is tough as hell, the grog is thick as blood. They'll mumble tales or stouts and ales, but none is quite so weird as one they tell about the fellow who pulled the barbarian's beard. 'Twas late one night the hulking wight came sidewise through the door. From side to side, full 5 foot wide, he stood near 8'4". His arms the size of strong men's thighs. But when he first appeared, all eyes were drawn to gaze upon the disgusting barbarian's beard. It sprouted out his ugly snout and hung well past his knees. Its tangled mat a habitat for chiggers, lice, and fleas. Its greasy swirls were greasy curls that never had been sheared. An odor foul as Satan's bowel wafted off the barbarian's beard. He raised his chin and staggered in. His beard swung back and forth, east-west, offbeat, to miss his feet as they moved south to north. There was no chair to fit him there. A tabletop was cleared. And from that bench he goosed the wench with his filthy barbarian's beard. 2 casks of grog, a roasted hog, he bellowed at the frail. They watched him eat the pig complete, the bones, the hooves, the tail. Then, fully fed, he raised his head and ominously leered, "While I'm asleep, you bastards keep your damned hands off my beautiful beard." He said no more, but soon his snore began to shake the room, and no one made a sound, afraid he'd wake and bring their doom. Like timid sheep, they watched him sleep until the morning neared, when Jack McBride arrived and spied that unconscious barbarian's beard. Now, of all the scum who used to come to drink inside that hall, old One-Eyed Jack would lead the pack. He was the worst of all, a callous brute of ill repute whom all the townfolk feared. He blinked his eye and shouted, "Why, would you look at that hideous beard? It's like a black sheep's hair and back, a blend of fleece and turd." The giant lay and snored away. He never heard a word. So Jack McBride walked to his side, and bending down, he sneered, "I'll pull that rug right off your mug." And he seized the barbarian's beard. The grease and grime and snot and slime were hard for him to grip. The whiskers twined him from behind and caused McBride to slip. The filthy hair became a snare. The patrons laughed and cheered. The thing fought back against poor Jack. 'Twas a struggle of man against beard. The twisted strands restrained his hands. The curls held down his legs. And fleas by rows leapt up his nose to feed and lay their eggs. The whiskers wound him round and round until he disappeared. And One-Eyed Jack did not come back from within the barbarian's beard. They say that when he woke again, the giant never knew about the fight he'd had that night, or why his whiskers grew. So when you drink, I hope you'll think about the tale you've heard. Don't tug or yank or grab a hank of a sleeping barbarian's beard. It's been sheared.
So, Violet, would you mind putting 5 minutes on the clock for the evaluation, round-robin evaluation round? Like, that doesn't sound right.
Something like that.
Something like that. It's a Saturday morning in summertime. I can't speak. So would anybody like to start with some feedback?
Mr. Dawson, thank you so much for a great entertaining 2 tales. I assume you wrote these?
Yes.
Yeah, fantastic stuff. And once again, amazing. Compliment on not just the rhymes at the end of 2 phrases, but rhymes in the middle that added to the pacing, and just really fascinating. and if I had the stuff before me, I thought, wow, that would be great. One small suggestion, you had man against the beard. I don't know, I'm not sure if that messed up the meter for me. A small thing, could it be man versus beard, or would that work?
It was a
either?
struggle of man against beard.
Man against beard.
Ta-ta-ta-ta-ta.
Okay. It struck me as one extra syllable there, but that's
Could be.
only a small thing. Thank you so much.
Anyone else?
It was amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're a great poet. Yeah. And I didn't know it.
Marie, you had something.
Dennis, you are very, very talented. Very talented. You can see that you've had acting background. And when you speak, when you speak, I'm always looking for something that we can improve on, because I think as a value as a Toastmaster, that's what we're here for. And you make it harder and harder every time.
However,
That's the issue.
Wow.
I would just can you slow it down? I mean, because what was happening was you had some very descriptive, icky things. Right? So you would say them, let's say if I were to describe it, you would say it up here, a spell is Satan's vow. And then about 4 stanzas later, I'm like, ew, that was gross. Like, I couldn't keep up with the speed of the visions weren't coming fast enough. So I would hear that one, and then I would miss some, and then I hit another. So I think it just needs to slow down a little bit. We weren't able to keep up.
Inimitable, but I really like your imagery. Dorsal deep in sauerkraut was one of my favorites. I also like the odor found in Satan's bowel. And others along those lines.
I just want to jump off of your point, Marie, about the cadence. I think for me, I felt the same way, that the images came later, but I have a feeling that, what is your audience, the intended audience for this festival?
oh, 5th graders or 4th graders.
I had a
no.
feeling that it would go over really well with the 4th or 5th graders, because it seems to be the sort of thing that they're into, I notice. At least my nieces and nephews all liked the yucky stuff at that age. So for that kind of audience, that was the right speed, but for, I think, older people, maybe.
Well, it could be, and that's why I was asking, because I know there's a cadence there, I know there's some rules what you're trying to follow. It just was, there's so much richness in this, and much material that people present. They have good points in the beginning, the middle gets slow, maybe I'm talking about myself. The beginning's good, and it gets slow, but you have like jewels all the way through your presentation, so it's like, you don't want to miss anything. That's why I wanted to see it.
Ashley?
Yes, I would suggest that you have a music stand out here and put your notes on it, because you were bound by your notes and you couldn't do all of the gestures that I think you really had intended for this.
Well, I need to memorize it, yeah.
Even if in memorization, a music stand is acceptable, but I know you are much more physical about stuff, and I can just see you pulling the snot and doing all kinds of things. And there's a lot of things like that. And I could see that, but I just felt you didn't have the opportunity to do it because you had to have the notes. But that's why I would say music stand might work.
Thanks for the imagery, actually.
Anytime. I didn't do it.
Leslie?
I thought you developed the characters really well, and it was really very entertaining.
The writing was impressive, the memorization was impressive, very polished. But one thing just to say something is maybe sometimes you should come closer to the audience. You were very animated, but you could maybe involve us a little bit more by coming closer. I know the stage is a little strange. But
Now, I was playing to the camera,
okay.
and so that's actually why I kept my feet pretty well rooted.
Hollywood,
Not
the man's of
excuses.
Hollywood.
Yeah.
Well, I want to post, and I hope, actually, I want to mention this. I'll go ahead and shoot everybody today, and anybody who survives. I want to post some of these things up on the, we have a Facebook presence now. We're actually going to maintain it for the district, and I want to put some of the table topics or anything good up there.
See, I wish I would have known I'm not wearing
So is there anybody who objects to that? Just let me know.